Now we will find my most expensive games. Because never give up. Get well soon, John Cena.
Prepare for battle.
What up, YouTube? This is Nate from Thriftdweller, and today I am shooting not my top 5, but my behind the scenes of the shooting of the top 5 most expensive video games in my collection. This is a response video to Michael B. the Game Genie, who responded to Mr. Dude to something something, who also responded from somebody else. So, classic tag video. If you haven't seen Ian's, check it out. I'll put the link somewhere here. But yeah, this is my top 5 most expensive games behind the scenes, I guess you can call it. So I'm going to look around my room and see which game I have here that's my 5 most expensive games. So the way that I'm doing it is, I have my computer hooked up to my TV here. I don't have a spreadsheet like Ian does on his, like for all his video games. So he can easily just pull up his spreadsheet and find whatever the most up-to-date prices of his games are. I don't. So, keyboard, price charting. So all this will be obviously based on price charting. Maybe local retail, I don't know yet. And I will type in the games that I think are the most valuable. Now, I don't keep up to date with the prices, so this is almost like a crapshoot for me. I might get some of it wrong, but I'm pretty sure I know what my top 5 most expensive games are.
What you gonna do? So what's this gonna be? It's Third Strike, y'all. Call it Street Fighter 3.
The Game Boy has returned, y'all. The third of the third, let's do it. Yo, this one for my homie Subi Third Striking it. I'm downright fierce, I'm on some Third Strike-ish. Pocket full of quarters, we add galloping go. Stay composed when I expose dudes with my Hado. Yo, I'm on the go like young on the skateboard. I'm so adored by people living abroad. Keep it off the wall, like Vega without a claw, get clawed.
This is one of the problems I have with collecting. It's like a kid who has money in his pocket and it's always burning a hole in his pocket. Cowboy Kid loose is worth $117.60 USD. Now, if you've seen Ian's top 5 most expensive games in his collection, you would have heard that I graciously, as a good friend and a brother in arms, gave him the manual and box for a fair price. But in turn, that drastically dropped the value of this game, which would have been $255 USD. But like I said, I'm not in it for the money as much as it's just for, you know, the dream of owning a lot of Nintendo games and such. And obviously the game meant something to Ian, so I was happy to give it to him. But still, this could be on my top 5 list. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see. Now, I got all 5, or I got all 6 of the Mega Man games here, and I knew they went up in value, but I didn't realize Mega Man 5, this is the one here. Why is this 80 bucks loose? That's crazy for me. I think I bought this for like 20 bucks back in the day, and that for me was super expensive. I thought Mega Man 1 would be like the harder one to find, or the most expensive one. That one is the second most expensive on the Nintendo at $71 loose. I don't think that's my most expensive game, so let's keep rolling. The majority of my Nintendo games are loose. I do have some complete in box games, and I'm thinking this is gonna be where the money games are on the original Nintendo complete in box.
Diplomatic community, read my opponent's eulogy. Foolishly running up on me, bro, you's a fool to me. Word up to my homie Negrosaki, Mr. Miyagi incarnate, my lyrics like karate.
I think my second highest chance of getting a high-priced game is on the Super Nintendo, but like I said, I don't keep up to date with prices, so this is kind of like a journey for me as well for you. The one I think will not be worth as much is the PS2 stuff, which I have probably the most of just because it's been the cheapest I've seen, or it's been one of the more cheaper consoles to collect for recently. There's a chance that Sega Genesis may have. Let's look up this game. I'm guessing this is probably my rarest Sega Genesis game.
Get lost, my unit is Shadow Law. Pray to God you don't cross my unit and get.
So that was a pretty bad fail of a prediction. Could Stormlord be worth anything? I don't know. Let's keep looking. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, wait. This might be a chance where one of my most expensive games have come from. Sega Saturn. But I think this one, or these three. One of these three here. Let's put that on our checklist. So, it's nighttime right now, that's why I am in my pajama clothes. But when I actually shoot my top 5, most expensive video games, I'll probably dress up a little bit. But like again, it's like 2 in the morning right now, so you get pajamas. I just got my top 5 most expensive video games on a pile over there, but you'll have to stay tuned for the actual video to see what they are. But in the meantime, I thought I would talk a little bit about my reflections and some key games in my collection, I guess. My main thought when I was checking out the prices on a lot of these games were a lot of my favorite games are not on like the most expensive lists. And like I said before, the main reason I got into collecting, and the main reason I still do collect, is try to find those games that may have meant something to me back in the day. And it seems like those aren't very rare, which is all good. So for people who like to complain that the retro video game market is really expensive, the games that really kind of mean something to me aren't too bad, especially if they're loose. If you really want to get into the money, it's all about that complete in box, dude. For real. But we'll talk about that more when we get to it. On average, I think my Super Nintendo had the highest money game per average. What I see in my collection is I don't have a lot of those really expensive games that a lot of other people like to show on their top 5 most expensive games. Like, you know, everyone has like that Gem Hagane, or has like a complete in box Earthbound or whatever. I don't have a lot of those, but I have a lot of uncommon games, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like games that are just below the rare expensive games. I have a lot of those ones. A lot of the more expensive games, per se. Let's go through my pile here. A game like this, Cowboy Kid, which is really a fun game at its heart, never meant much to me as a kid. I gave this box and manual, I think I pretty much said it already in this video, to Ian. I think it's worth like 120 bucks, something like that. $117, I think. Just below, this is like my 6th most expensive game in my collection, which kind of goes a far way in saying that I don't have many expensive games in my collection, but on average I have a lot of uncommon games, so that's not bad. Probably the most underdog game, if there is such a thing, like the Little Mac in Punch-Out who destroys all the bigger opponents. Kid Dracula, this game loose, is worth $117. I found this game for $5. A lot of these games I'm going to show you right now, they're mostly key games from my collection. If you followed our channel in the past, you would have seen them in pickup videos and such. I sit weird on the floor. Yes, Kid Dracula complete would have been, I'm pretty sure, over 300 bucks. This is reproduction, obviously. Probably one of my favorite games of all time, complete in box. Zelda: Link to the Past, complete in box, $86. Again, one of the best-selling games of all time, I'm pretty sure. And so, hence, it's not worth as much. But still, not in my top 5 most expensive games, but one of my favorite games of all time. And you'll notice in the top 5 games, I think, yeah, my top 5 most expensive games, only one of those games cracks my top 10 games of all time, which is a weird thing. I never got like, ooh, this game's rare, but it sucks balls. How is it worth like $400, $4,000? Stadium Events sucks. I've played it emulated. It's not a good game. Probably the only game that I know that is really expensive that I think is actually a really good game, Bubble Bath Babes. Just kidding. Little Samson. And I know the guy who recommended us to do this top 5 most expensive games has that in his collection. Michael B., you rich son of a... No hate. No hate. Probably one of the best values I've ever gotten in a video game. 99 cents, if you remember, on Season 1 of Thriftdweller. This game, complete in box. I remember when he died, people were trying to sell it for like 200 bucks. I think this game is worth about $70 USD. This has been factory sealed for over... When does this came? This probably came out in like 1990, let's say, okay? This game is over 25 years old, still in its original packaging. It's worth $24. It's factory sealed. I thought this would be worth a little bit more, to be honest with you. North and South is another game that's really fun. Didn't crack my top 5 list, but it is worth... Sorry, I'm looking beyond the camera right now. There's two cameras here. North South Complete in Box is worth $90. This is missing the manual, however, so I don't know, $75. GTV News for Gamers and FTR, what's up? $5. I found this game loose from our good friend Noah and one of my besties, one of my homies, 64-Bit Matthew. We plug his channel a lot. Why? Because it's dope. Check out the cards. It's a new thing on YouTube. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Hyperstone Heist. This game, complete in box, $90.99. I found this game for $5. This one actually got me surprised. I thought I was going nuts. $5 for a complete in box Super Double Dragon. I went on price charting. It's worth $265. That didn't make sense to me, so I actually looked up the sales. It only sold once for $265. On average, this game, complete in box, is sold for about $100. So, price charting has some of its flaws. Just a warning for you. The 2 games that came just close to cracking my top 5 most expensive games. $5, I found this in Season 1. Dragon Fighter for the Nintendo. This thing is worth $125. Actually, $124.90 something cents. So, it didn't crack my top 5 by like 5 cents. But I mean, for $5, that's a solid deal. I think $5 or $10, I'm not sure. Check out Season 1. Shameless plug. And I recently found the manual for this game, Ninja Gaiden 3. Almost cracked my top 5 at $115 complete in box. One of the most beautiful games for the Nintendo and one of the most hardest games. People like to say Battletoads. Ninja Gaiden is right up there with some of the most hardest games on the Nintendo. But like I said, Nintendo has a lot of money games. Per average, Super Nintendo for me has been a good producer on average, I guess. A lot of like $75 games loose there. Bam, bam, bam. Now, probably one of my best giveaways of all time on Thriftdweller. Ninja Warriors. I had the box for that game. Gave it to an FTR brother. That game complete is worth $385. So Kevin, I swear to God, I hope you have that game with the manual and cartridge, obviously, because I sent you the box. If you need to know who Kevin is, check out Season 3. He is the Import Saturn trade. That almost made me cry. Now, shoot. I just looked up Beatmania loose is worth $29.50, but complete with like the Beatmania machine, it says it's $94.99. Well, I didn't realize this was $94.99. Really nice. Sweet. This game, I think Season 2, I picked it up maybe for $30. I'm not sure, so not a bad investment. $30 Canadian, $94.99 USD. Not a bad deal there. I have to sit like this. I know it's not a yoga pose. This is just how I sit, okay? So there you have it. Behind the scenes of making of Nate's top 5 most expensive games of all time. It's nighttime right now. I gotta catch some Z's. But thank you guys very much for watching. Please stay tuned for Nate's top 5 most expensive video games. It's really weird talking about myself in third person like that. But yeah, check out my top 5 most expensive video games on YouTube. I said my name because I didn't want you to confuse with Ian's. Thank you, Mike B, the Game Genie, for referring us to this shenanigans of a video. Anyways, I better catch some sleep. Thank you guys very much for watching. This is Nate from Thriftdweller. Subscribe, like, rate, do all that cool stuff. Thank you very much for the support. Season 5. Don't have a theme yet. Maybe the theme will be never you won't body me. Like that thing up on your wrist, I see you watching me. Better stick to parrying, cause you ain't blocking these. Yo, you don't stand a chance unless you can defeat my shin long. We been strong, or maybe keep it fierce like a hard punch on the battlefront. I'm the one you should be running from. Heaven on my back like my name.